The dark secret behind the Pythagorean theory. We all know his name. It's beaten into our heads in every middle school geometry class on earth. Pythagoras, the grandfather of mathematics, the gentle, ancient Greek philosopher who unlocked the elegant, perfect laws of nature. But history books leave out the blood. They leave out the fact that 2,500 years ago, a man was taken out to sea by his closest peers, dragged to the edge of a boat, and forcibly drowned. His crime: he solved a math equation. And the discovery he made threatened to destroy everything Pythagoras had built. To understand why a math equation could get you murdered, you have to understand who Pythagoras actually was. He wasn't just a teacher. He was a radical, absolute cult leader. Around 530 BCE, Pythagoras established a secret society in southern Italy called the Pythagoreans. To join, you had to surrender all your worldly possessions, take a strict vow of 5 years of total silence, and swear an oath of absolute secrecy. And the rules inside this society were deeply unhinged. Members were forbidden from touching white roosters, speaking in the dark, or, most famously, ever eating or even touching fava beans. Pythagoras genuinely believed beans contained the souls of the dead. But their strangest belief was their religion. The Pythagoreans didn't worship Zeus or Poseidon. They worshipped numbers. Their central dogma was simple: all is number. They believed the entire universe was built on a foundation of clean, perfect, whole integers and their ratios. Everything, from the music of a lyre to the movement of the stars, could be explained by beautiful, rational numbers. To them, math was the literal face of God. And the crown jewel of this divine math: the Pythagorean Theorem. The Pythagoreans used their theorem to calculate everything. But one day, a brilliant young disciple named Hippasus of Metapontum decided to test the limits of the master's formula. He drew an incredibly simple isosceles right triangle. The base was 1 unit long. The height was 1 unit long. He applied the sacred theorem. 1 squared plus 1 squared equals c squared. 1 plus 1 equals 2. C squared equals 2. Therefore, the longest side, the hypotenuse, had to be the square root of 2 sqrt, 2. Hippasus sat down to calculate what exact fraction, what perfect ratio of whole numbers, equaled sqrt, 2. He tried every combination. But the math kept breaking. No matter how far he calculated, the decimals went on forever, never repeating, never resolving into a clean ratio. 1.41421356, into infinite chaos. Hippasus hadn't just found a weird number. He had mathematically proven the existence of irrational numbers. To a modern student, this is just a button on a calculator. But to the Pythagorean cult, this was an absolute catastrophe. If irrational numbers existed, it meant the universe wasn't perfect. It meant their God was flawed. It shattered their entire religious theology. Pythagoras couldn't disprove the math. Hippasus's proof was flawless. So, instead of rewriting his philosophy to accept the truth, the master chose a cover-up. Pythagoras strictly ordered his followers that this mathematical anomaly must never leave the walls of the sanctuary. It was classified as a cosmic sin. But Hippasus was a scholar. He believed truth belonged to the world. Defying the cult, he leaked the secret of the irrational number to outsiders. The betrayal was total, and the punishment was swift. According to historical accounts recorded by later Greek philosophers, the Pythagoreans lured Hippasus out onto a boat under the pretense of a voyage. Once they were far from the coastline, out in deep water where no one could hear his screams, they grabbed him. They threw him over the side and held his head beneath the waves until he stopped moving. They murdered a man to protect a math secret. Pythagoras thought that by drowning Hippasus, he could drown the truth. But history has a funny way of correcting itself. The cult eventually collapsed, burned down by angry locals who grew tired of their secrecy and political manipulation. Today, Pythagoras is remembered for his math, but the very theorem that bears his name is the exact weapon that fundamentally destroyed his entire worldview. Next time you look at a simple triangle, remember, you aren't just looking at geometry. You're looking at a discovery so dangerous, men were willing to kill to keep people in the dark. Subscribe to our channel for more educative videos. Thank you.